Have you taken a test with MyHeritage DNA, and as you're looking through your match results, you wish you had a little bit of help trying to figure out how everyone relates? Then stick around. I'm going to talk to you about MyHeritage DNA's theory of family relativity. I think you're going to be excited. Howdy, I'm Devin Noel Lee with Family History Fanatics, where we help you understand DNA, climb your family tree, and write your ancestors' stories along the way. If this is your first time here, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell to be notified when we release a new video. In February 2019, MyHeritage released a tool that partners your DNA with genealogical records and tree building to provide you with theories of how you're related to your DNA matches. If you have tested your DNA with MyHeritage, then make sure that you build a tree on MyHeritage and then link your DNA to yourself. To build your tree, you can build one from scratch, starting with yourself and working your way back. You can also take a GEDCOM file and upload it to MyHeritage. You can take it from Family Tree Maker, Roots Magic, or download a GEDCOM file from Ancestry and transfer it over. Or you can import portions of your tree from Family Search at the click of a button. Once you have a tree built on MyHeritage and your DNA test, you need to link yourself to the DNA test, and then MyHeritage will begin to use its computer processes to link you and your DNA matches through possible connections. That sounds an awful lot like Ancestry Throughlines, and I have made a series of 5 videos explaining Ancestry Throughlines, and you can get a link to that video in the description or in the pop-ups that will appear on the screen. MyHeritage will then use its computer program to compare yourself and your DNA matches, starting with your trees, to see if you can find a common ancestor. And then if they can find a common ancestor through one of several ways, which I'll show you here in a moment, it will tell you in a description below their name that there is a theory of relativity. You can see this one right up here. When you click on View Theory, you'll come to this page. Now, what makes this theory of relativity different than other platforms is this. The theory climbs up my family tree to the names I already have, because as you can see up here on the top, this is from the Lee website managed by you. Then it goes through either another tree or a record. A record, that's what makes this different. It goes through a record. It says we have this John R. Reese. It's likely this John R. Hankinson, which brings me down to this man right here. And if I scroll over a little bit further, I'm covering up the living person's name with my body. But up here, this is my matches tree. We went from way over there, my tree, to this record, to my DNA matches tree. And that is pretty powerful. So let's discuss again in a little more detail, what does MyHeritage use in order to develop those theories? The first thing MyHeritage is going to do is compare your tree with your DNA matches tree. And if it can find common names, then your theory will be pretty brief. If it doesn't, then it's going to look for historical records and try to see if there's a record, such as that 1910 census, that could bridge the gap between your tree and your DNA matches tree. Then MyHeritage will also look at smart matches. What about trees that are on Family Search and Genie that they have an index to in MyHeritage, as well as my other MyHeritage tree builders, and see if they can piece together your information. But I have to caution you, these are theories. You cannot determine if those theories, those paths are accurate without doing a little genealogical research along with the genetic theories and matches. So be sure that you just don't see a theory and think that's number one, because it could be wrong. In fact, sometimes there's multiple paths towards your DNA match and you. And this is what makes MyHeritage particularly awesome. Here's what I mean. So I match another cousin, and you see right here that MyHeritage has 4 paths to try to link me to my DNA match. I go up my tree, and then I go over to a MyHeritage tree that's not the DNA match, and then over to another tree. You see that there? So I'm covering up this last tree, but there's another tree here. So MyHeritage went through just a combination of trees. Path 2, we go through my tree, another tree on MyHeritage, and we get to this small little segment. Now this tree right here only has the DNA test and their parents. Isn't that cool? Some people don't put very much details, but MyHeritage was able to come up with a path for me using this one tree as well as an intermediary tree, and then take it back to mine. Now path 2, 3, and 4 also went through trees that people have on MyHeritage. But if you do have a theory that comes from Family Search, Gini, other records, and so forth, then MyHeritage will point them out to you as well. Now, one of the things that I really do like about MyHeritage is that you can compare genetically how you're related to someone, sort of. What I mean by that is, not only can you investigate the theory, you can investigate your DNA match. Let's go ahead and click this purple button that says Review DNA Match and show you what I'm talking about. If you will scroll down the page, you will come to a section where you're going to compare yourself to your match to matches you guys have in common, your shared match list. But one of the cool things that you can see on MyHeritage that you can't see on another theory platform is that right here, you see this little mark right here? That's the triangulation mark. And now I can see it on several of the DNA research hints. If we go ahead and click on that button, so what you can see is a chromosome map, and you can see that the pink is the person I was investigating that has a theory of family relativity. The orange or yellow, that is my brother. And I can see that on chromosome 1, on chromosome 3, and on chromosome 9, that there are places where we triangulate. I match, my match matches my brother, and my brother matches myself. So we know that we are genetically related, we are triangulated. So if I add another person who I suspect is from the theory of relativity line, that Hankinson line, if we find that we're all triangulating in the same spot, it adds more evidence that that theory might be true. And I really, really like that. Now, I'm going to give you a quick review of some of the things that I really like about the MyHeritage theories of family relativities. The first thing was that it will show you multiple paths between you and your DNA match if they exist. So, one path might seem to be accurate, another might go through another tree and a record and so on and so forth. But also, if you have endogamy, it might show up as well, that you could be through these people and you could be through those people as well. Next, I really like that I can compare a genetic tree, the triangulation information, with the genealogical tree or genealogical records. Having both of them adds more confidence to the conclusions that you make and help you determine whether your theories are valid. Now, there are some things I kind of don't like about the theories of family relativities. The first thing is that they are not updated very often. You could go link your DNA to a tree, your matches could have linked their DNA to a tree, and still you won't have any theories for a while. And you have to wait and wait and wait until they update it again. So I really wish I could figure out a way to do that process a little more frequently. The next drawback is, we have to be honest, the MyHeritage DNA database is smaller than other platforms. And therefore, since not all of your matches are in that platform, it's entirely possible that the discoveries you're trying to make aren't going to happen on MyHeritage. Doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be on the other platforms, but because it's a small database, your theories can be few and far between. The last thing is, I don't know the statistics behind it, but it seems that most of my DNA matches at MyHeritage have not put their trees online. It helps if they have at least a few people, like in the one example, which just had herself and her parents. But few trees are built on the MyHeritage platform connected to DNA, which decreases the possibility of us getting theories. So if you're not getting any theories, it could be one of these three reasons. I have more information to give you that is probably not going to make it into a video, so be sure to check the link in the description to the blog post that's going to talk more about theories of family relativity, the good and the bad. So check out the theories of family relativities and let us know what you think in the comments below. If you have questions, perhaps we will address them in a future video. But in the meantime, be sure to check out some of these videos that you see on screen as to what you should watch next.